If you knew exactly what the point was and where you went when you died and everything, and what if it sucked? What if it was terrible? That would, what was Cleveland? What if that was it? If you're stressed out about the coronavirus, don't worry. We're all going to die soon anyway. All of us. Because the world's probably going to end. And hopefully, after the podcast. Hopefully we get through the whole podcast before the world ends. What's up? It's the Jubal Show podcast. I'm your host, Jubal Fresh. With me, as always, is my hot-ass wife, Alex Fresh.
Hey.
Manny Martin and John Slayton. Make sure to rate, review, comment, and subscribe. Jubal Show comes out every single Wednesday, iTunes, and on YouTube. Don't forget about the Fresh to Death podcast, where Alex and I get high and do stuff. That comes out only on Tuesdays on YouTube. It's a YouTube exclusive. And the Fresh to Death podcast every single Monday, iTunes, YouTube. Rate, review, comment, and subscribe. Every Monday, but Monday might not matter anymore because we all might be dying soon. I feel like the world's about to end.
Seems like it.
On the show today, we're going to talk a little bit about one of the reasons why probably everybody in this room, Manny's not in the room, he's on Zoom right now because he still is self-quarantining. Everybody else is going to be like, fuck it, whatever. Let's just get coronavirus because John's in studio today. But we'll talk about the parallel universe. NASA found that what they say is evidence of a parallel universe. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Also, hashtag StoryTimeWithAlex. What are we going to talk about today for Storytime?
Like your favorite or craziest high school memory.
High school memories. Okay, so hashtag crazy high school memories.
Crazy or favorite high school memory?
Crazy or favorite. It's a long hashtag, but the story should be interesting. And of course, the hottest segment in entertainment today, John Slayton's hot celebrity gossip thingy that we don't have a name for yet. That, of course, is going to end the show. But first, let's talk about the fact that NASA released just the other day that they think they found evidence of a parallel universe. I don't really even know what that means.
Yeah, how can you even wrap your head around what that could possibly mean?
Yeah, if you listen to the podcast normally, a lot of dick jokes, a lot of fart jokes, a lot of stuff like that. And we'll probably have some of that in this whole conversation about the parallel universe, I'm sure, because my dick's probably going to be bigger in a parallel universe. See, I couldn't help it. I had to do one. But prepare to have your mind blown if you haven't heard this story yet. But NASA thinks that they found evidence of another universe that's next to ours, and they say that time runs backwards in that universe. And even just reading the article that was written for people, like normal people to read, I still had to read it like 4 times to really understand what the hell they meant by that. I'll explain what I know based off of what I read on the internet. Because, shocker, I'm not a scientist. But so apparently NASA was doing research in Antarctica because Antarctica is I want to go to Antarctica so bad. It's a weird place.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Apparently there's like no radio frequencies there because surprise, there's nobody there. So there's no interruptions and things like that in the atmosphere. So they sent this antenna that they have way up into the atmosphere to take measurements of smart people stuff. And and they found, though, that there's these neutrinos, which is, I don't even really understand what a neutrino is. Manny, you looked it up. Do you understand exactly what those are?
They're kind of like electrons, but they don't have charges. They have, I believe, a wavelength of 0 as opposed to either being positive or negative. So they sent the weather balloon out 3 times. The first 2 times, they were trying to test something high in the atmosphere. They got some readings, and then the second time it was kind of the same thing, but the third time they decided to do it kind of lower in the atmosphere, closer to Earth, and that's when they found what they found. So.
Yeah. So they found that, there's these neutrinos, which sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie anyway, that come down to Earth from outer space, which I guess has always been a thing that they knew about, and that's normal. But they found that they're going up into outer space from the Earth, and they shouldn't be able to do that because they shouldn't be able to pass through Earth to go straight up, like they would go around it or something. And for whatever reason, the fact that there's like a constant stream of these things going up into space, that makes these scientists hypothesize that they have discovered evidence of a parallel universe that's next to ours that runs backwards.
Wow. So does that mean,
I don't even
like,
know what that means.
What I picture is wherever you get to the end of our outer space, on the other side of that is another universe that's like doing the opposite of us. But what does that even mean?
Does that mean that right now we're all in this other universe, but we're old getting younger and we're here young getting older?
Like a Benjamin Button situation.
But maybe you go there when you die. You know, maybe, and you like, that's where you rebirth.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I thought was that's where you go when you die, maybe.
I guess what I thought, because they said this apparently took place during the Big Bang, right? So you
Yeah.
picture the Big Bang as being this, and then you picture the explosion and matter going both ways. And so I picture this is the opposite universe and this is ours.
That's
so
insane.
They kind of mirror each other.
Yeah.
So what do you think is going on then? Do you think there's another like same solar system in that universe and like same Earth and people like us?
Yeah, it's so hard because it's like if they say that there is a clock going backwards, that's where it like my mental capacity doesn't work. I could see it.
Yeah.
But maybe,
maybe
that's their normal.
Well, yeah, for them it'd be normal.
Right.
Because even like in the things that I've been reading about what NASA says that they found, they even said, you know, for them, this other universe, we'd be the ones backwards.
Yeah.
So they're normal. We're the weird ones.
I don't know what that means though. Like, what are they doing that's so backwards than us?
Well, I mean, it's weird because if you think of it like a mirror, right? You look at it, and even looking at my sweatshirt right now, do you guys see it backwards?
No.
No.
Or is it? Okay.
I see it normal.
I mean, so technically I feel like maybe letters are read backwards. So like an E is pointed the other way, and like an electron, instead of being a positive, is a negative. But to me, it's like you have this whole antimatter equation, which is, okay, we have life on this one. So if there was a complete opposite universe, then there technically shouldn't be any life on the other one, right?
I don't even know what you just said because all I hear is this kid screaming in the background in this room right next to me.
We're like everybody else. Everybody's home all the time. Quarantine, coronavirus, which, by the way, thanks to NASA for giving us something else to talk about today.
Thank you. Thanks for finding that out.
Right. And if this conversation bores you at all, because it shouldn't, because this should just be a conversation you can listen to be like, try to figure it out. Try to figure out what could possibly be in a parallel universe that's basically the same as ours, but it runs backwards in time. It's an interesting conversation to have. But while you were talking right now, all we can hear is Jax, the 7-year-old, jumping around and screaming
at the top of his lungs,
whatever he's doing.
Even though I just told him, hey, I'm doing a podcast, you guys need to be quiet. Okay, no jumping around, no screaming for like the next hour.
And at some point during the podcast, they will walk in here, or he'll need something. He'll knock on the door and be like, can I have
a snack?
Yeah, a Sprite. A Sprite. He's always wanting Sprite.
So, Manny, when you were explaining that, I was listening to most of it, but it was like the last few sentences where me and Jubal just are looking at each other like.
So in the parallel universe, he's doing his thing, not interrupting our podcast, but our podcast is interrupting him.
Gotcha. Interrupting his Fortnite.
Yeah.
You also go back to a lot of scientists seem to think that there's a multiverse. So for every action that we've ever made, we also made the opposite choice, which spawns endless infinity of like universes. So in one, Alex is married to Jubal, the non-radio host, or in one, Jubal's married to Alex, the radio host, or however many possible.
Okay, but you think it's still like from birth till death? If it's in everything's backwards.
If time runs backwards.
It's not death till birth?
Let's say there's mirrored.
Holy shit. If you lived like a really shitty life, and then you had to go live that backwards.
I know.
I'm like, I know what's coming. God damn it.
Last night, Alex and I were talking about it because we saw the story and we were talking about it. And I was like, what if that's like energy from people going back and forth? So you die over there in that parallel universe when you're actually
rewind.
You go you go old to young over there, then you die. And then you come here and you go young to old, then you die. And it just keeps recycling. So you just keep living a life over and over again in these. Oh my
Damn.
God.
And then
They're
that would
so.
explain.
What is going on out there? I'm sorry. What is
No, you're
going
good.
on? You need to, because I don't think it's gonna stop. They're so loud. Like I was in the middle. I don't even know what I said anymore. I was starting to talk and I just heard shouting and running down the hallway and whatever else. So,
Dude,
one
that-
second.
When we get back to it, that was a great. I love that because that sounds plausible.
Yeah, it does. I don't know what's going on though. There might be somebody murdering our kids, and I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna have to whistle.
Oh, you're good.
That's out there. That's their kids. Those aren't my
Oh,
kids.
that's the kids next
I was like, that
door.
does not sound like.
Oh
Okay.
man.
But somebody was running.
Somebody was running, but now
yeah.
the next door neighbor's kids
are
are
screaming,
shouting
"Shut
in the
the fuck up."
backyard. They are loud.
Yeah.
Man, we got soundproofing in the studio here. There is
Yeah.
a window, which is the problem, that it's not a soundproof window, but you can hear those kids yell. I don't know if you can hear it on the podcast, but probably because they're loud. So anyway, my stomach just
That's your
growled.
stuff.
There's so many weird noises going on.
Let's just blame Corona.
Yeah.
Blame it on the Rona. Anyway,
But
so
what I was saying was,
yeah.
What if that's how it works though? You just keep recycling and you keep living lives in the different universes until you die, and when you just go to the other one back and forth and back.
But
and
then why don't you remember, like, we only know this life?
Right.
know?
Well, you think about it, like maybe that explains deja vu. Like when you're having these moments of like, oh, I've lived this before, because you have
Yeah.
endless times, like
Yeah.
infinity.
You know what's interesting? I've watched a couple shows on neutrinos.
You have?
Yeah, it sounds like a great time, right? And, but as you say them, I'm still like, what the fuck are they? Like I couldn't, even after watching a couple shows, and I remember they somewhere they built this machine to make neutrinos, like to do some type of simulation. But yeah, and I still like, so I can't remember
It's
how to understand what they are exactly.
trying to wrap your head around this stuff is
Yeah.
crazy.
But shout
So-
out to all the nerds out there who watched
Right.
Ninja Turtles back in the day. The neutrinos were actually a gang of like alien super race that hung out the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That's why it
Wow.
sounded familiar to me. It wasn't anything to do with science. It was I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I watched that. So I was like, I swear I've read something about neutrinos before. No, it was just from Teenage Mutant Ninja
Yeah.
Turtles. All right, that makes sense. So do you think if there's if there's a parallel universe that runs backwards in time, and there are mirrored us's there, right? Do you think that we're the same age in that parallel universe? It's just going in the opposite direction. Like there's an Alex there who is the same age. It's just she's getting younger, and sorry, babe, but you're getting older.
Damn it.
But, do you, like,
But I'm
that's
getting
that's-
older to go back to get younger.
Yeah, see,
there you go.
that's something trippy to think about too. Like maybe they go from like old to birth, basically, and then
Yeah, but that would be weird.
Yeah, but do they just
Yeah.
crawl out of the ground? I mean, like how does
Benjamin
their
Or they just like
Life
crawl back
start.
into a pussy? Like,
yeah. Maybe they go from maybe you die here old, then you go there old, and then you go back down to sperm or an egg or whatever, or you just go to baby, then you die, or then you come to this universe, crawl up inside of a vagina, boom, start the whole
well, that's
process
not what
over.
my Lord and Savior said. Do you think it's like a door? You know?
Ooh, that's I mean, yeah, I'm thinking like Stranger Things, where it's like the upside down, where it's like literally everything that we think. It's like, you know, I'm white, you guys are black. You know what I mean? I'm your oppressor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I really do. I mean, I think like that there's probably like antimatter that's, you know, if it touched matter, it might destroy it. It might, I don't know. I mean, there's so many different plausible open theories that it could be, but I think it's interesting.
Yeah, you eat Taco Bell there, and it actually is good for your stomach. You actually feel good after you eat it.
Yeah.
It's health food over there.
They call it first meal.
Yeah.
And when you eat it, all you do is piss, and when you drink water, you take a shit. I
Yeah.
don't know. It really blows my mind.
I mean, I do think that it would be very similar to our Earth. Like there's another Earth like ours over there that are doing the same things we're doing, you know?
Do you
Trying
think
to
it's,
figure
like,
out the
just
same
looking-
things.
Do you think it's just in the opposite side of the mirror? Like when you go
Yeah.
brush your teeth, that's kind of what I was thinking originally. That'd
I don't
be wild.
I don't think we have like a twin there. It might not be mirrored
Right.
like that, but it could
Right.
just be like an exact same thing over there.
Like there's
Same solar system, same moon, same sun, same Earth,
Right.
same animals,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, because if it's the same elements and everything else, if the Big Bang happened and these two universes went their separate ways, then all the elements would basically be the same, right? Because it all came from the same place.
Or would they be the opposite element, or like, the opposite polar spin? If it's like, say for instance, a hydrogen atom is like, I forget, it's like +2. Then in this other world, it's -2. So they basically cancel each other out when they touch or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But then here's a thought. So if they were, the same, but maybe certain things did or didn't happen throughout time to have them evolve the way we did. Like, okay, 60 million years ago or whatever it was when the big asteroid hit like the Yucatan Peninsula and wiped out the dinosaurs. What if theirs just slightly missed them somehow?
So there's still
And-
dinosaurs over there, maybe.
Yeah.
If they had dinosaurs.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
interesting.
Or just,
Yeah.
I don't know, just those things that, change the earth over time. Like maybe, I don't know, if something slightly different happened.
Yeah. Sound off in the comments, people. If you, let us know what you think.
Yeah. I was thinking about it, and when Alex and I were talking about this when we saw the story last night, I was like, because she's convinced that it's probably the end of the world soon.
It's possible.
It's possible.
Like in the next 100 years or less, I'd say.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah,
really-
yeah. I could see that.
I do too. And but I think there's the overall vibe with like the coronavirus and all this other stuff, and but I don't think that's gonna happen. But I do feel like in our lifetime, there's gonna be some major discoveries about what is out there, and maybe even contact with aliens or something like that. I feel like we're on the verge of something like that, especially with scientists, when NASA's finding that and saying, I mean, it's a big deal to say that you think you found evidence of a parallel universe. So I feel like we're right about there, where maybe even time travel or something like that could come true. Here's something that kind of a mind fuck to think about is, what if scientists figured out the meaning of life while you were still alive?
Oh.
That would be weird.
I would love that.
Would you though?
Remember,
Yeah.
I told you that was like if I could get my one wish, like
Yeah.
what happens when you die,
Yeah. The meaning
there
of
you
or
life.
like the meaning of life, or like what
That would change
That would be-
the way you lived so much, though. Like,
Totally.
I mean, if you knew exactly what the point was and
Yeah.
where you went when you died and everything, and what if it sucked? What if it was terrible? That would, what was Cleveland? What if that was it?
Oh, shit.
You go, you when you die, you go to Cleveland and you work on a railroad track. But imagine like living your life knowing exactly where
Yeah.
you were going. I mean, it would be weird to me, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, what if you lived a really shit life?
If you were living a really shit life and you knew where you were going, wouldn't you kill yourself?
I'm confused now.
I'm just saying, if you lived life knowing the meaning of life, would it make life better for you, or would it make it worse for you?
I don't know,
Because
because
it's part of the not knowing, the reason why we still keep going. Like if you knew,
Yeah.
like if you knew there was no point to it at all and you knew the lights went out, would you continue trying to do better and live better, or would you just be like, fuck it? Or if you knew that wherever you go after you die was the best place, wouldn't you just kill yourself so you get there right away?
not unless like that's a sin, and
And you
you
don't
won't go
get
there.
there.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Damn.
Some of us might have to get right with Jesus first.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I know where I'm going. Actually, I don't. Actually, I really
No
don't,
idea.
and I'm fucking scared about it.
No
So
idea.
if anybody knows the meaning of life, we'd like to know.
yeah. All right. Well, enough of that. That was just an interesting story that, broke the other day. And comment. Let us know what you think. If you're on the YouTube, comment and let us know what you think it means and what you think another universe would be like. But let's get into hashtag story time now.
Story time with Alex. Well, this week I came up with to share your craziest or favorite high school memory. And I'll have
This is a tough one for me.
Jubal go first.
This is a hard one to think about because my memory is terrible. Probably my favorite high school memory would be in 9th grade, my first hangover.
That's a favorite?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a lot of good memories from high school. I hated high school.
But you like a favorite memory is being hung over?
Yeah, because it was funny to me. Because I was in 9th grade and I had a party and it was the first time I got really, really hungover, drinking screwdrivers. And, oh, man, it was just bad. But I went to school the next day and I was trying to concentrate in class and everything else. And I didn't really know how to handle a hangover yet because I wasn't a pro. I had like a few slight hangovers before that, but this one was bad. But I was like, oh man, I gotta go to the bathroom. And so I asked my teacher if I could go to the bathroom, and I walked out, took 2 steps out of the door, and then I puked all over the door. Just orange juice and vodka and tequila and everything. It was just all over the door.
And that is his favorite high school memory.
And then I got to go home because they thought I had the flu, but I didn't have the flu, just had a hangover. So it was kind of a bonus. It was funny to me that I puked and everybody was, oh man, it was hilarious how disgusted the class was. Like you could just hear it. I can still hear everybody going like, oh my God.
We should have done a favorite puke video.
It was
story.
It was literally just,
Puke story.
I didn't know it was going to happen either. It was just projectile all over the door and like the reaction. And then I got to go home and rest. So I guess, I don't know. I guess that would probably be my favorite high school memory.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a tough one for me because
Did you go to any dances or?
I went to a lot of dances, but I hated going to the dances.
Why did you go then?
Because I had a girlfriend. I had to go.
You didn't have to have a girlfriend. You didn't have to go.
I guess I didn't have to. I didn't like going to dances, but I went to high school dances way beyond when I should have been going.
That's disturbing.
Sad. It's very sad. I've been to so many goddamn proms in my life.
That's disturbing.
It is disturbing.
Like once you go to your first, you're 18 at that point. So why are you? That's high school.
So I went to I went to the junior prom, right? Then I went to the senior prom, and then the girlfriend that I had in high school, she was a junior when I graduated. So then I went to her junior prom, and then her senior prom, because I was out of high school. So I was the old one at the prom. That was that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, it was terrible. And then when I first got when I was in radio, they did this like stunt where you get to go to prom with me for whatever reason. I was in my 20s, and it was like a joke thing. I don't know. I don't even know how it started, but anyway, somebody won me as a prom date, and I was like, "This is terrible. This is like the 5th prom I've been to. It's horrible." But the school actually found out about it and wouldn't allow me in. And I was like, "Thank God."
Oh, that's awesome.
But also, most seniors are 17, so that's why it's disturbing. Manny, we'll go with you next. What's yours?
Oh man, I've been trying to think of them, and it's like, gosh, it just feels so long ago. I went to a lot of dances, but it was funny because I got friend zoned by like every girl, so like I'd have a crush on them, and then they'd be like, "Oh, Manny's just," so I wasn't like hooking up with anybody.
Yeah.
Trying to think. I guess I know we were trying to stay away from basketball, but I guess mine are basketball related. So
That's what I was going to talk about.
You're going to talk about basketball too.
So I rode the bench for most of my varsity year. I was good. I was great at defense. I had a decent 3-point shot when they put me in, but it was the last game of the year. But I'll never forget. We were going down the court, and this like 7-foot guy was like right behind me. Somebody dumped me the ball, and I'm right under the hoop. I hadn't scored at all that year, right? So I go up. I double clutch it, and I'm just praying to God that it goes in, and I just like threw it up, and that shit banked off the top of the backboard and like fell in, just nothing but net. The whole crowd like erupted, and I was like, holy shit, that went in, and my buddies were looking at me like on the court, they're like, fuck yeah, Manny, and I was like, yeah, like I didn't have
That's
fucking
cool.
play, but
That's cool.
yeah. Yeah. Other than that would be that time I got that girl pregnant. And
Hey, I was pregnant in high school. Watch it.
Yeah, yeah. And her name was Alex, and it was after you hit that big shot in basketball. Is that what happened?
Oh, shit. They found out. Okay. Well, John, what's your favorite high school memory or craziest story?
It was a lot harder than I thought to think of, like crazy
Yeah.
high school memories. Like, I did a lot of bad shit in high school.
Yeah.
So like most of my high school memories are like, I mean, they're not really
Jail.
like, yeah. I mean, one of my favorite high school. I'm sorry, not taking away from your story, John. I just thought you were
Oh, no,
thinking,
it's
and I
fine.
was like, just wanted to comment on how hard it was to think
Yeah.
of. But yeah, like one of my favorite high school memories is how I avoided getting arrested a few times. For selling drugs. And everybody else would get arrested but me because I was really good at talking my way out of it. I
And you
guess.
sold oregano to people.
And I sold oregano. Oh, I remember this one girl I would sell oregano to all the time.
That's
she
fucked
was
up. Is she stupid?
she was in my English class,
Oh
and
my
she was
God.
always like asking me for. I was like, I'll get you some, and so I just started selling her bags of oregano, and she would come in and be like, that was so good. And I'm like, yeah, you want more? I got more. And then I'd just go home, see if we had any oregano, and bring it back to her.
I mean, I was really smoking weed when I was in high school, like
yeah.
16, 17, 18. Like, you know the difference.
I feel like she should have known. She did figure it out at one point, and she was very upset at me. I remember that.
All right, John.
I really enjoyed my Chinese class. That was,
Why?
she'd give us a 5-minute grace period, so we had time to go and get high before class. And, but I don't have a lot of high school memories. See, I left home my freshman year. And I continued going to school when I left home. I was working.
So you were living on your own in high school?
Yep.
Yeah, I lived on my own my senior year. I moved out at 17, and so my
Yeah.
senior year I was living on my own. That was
oh wow.
Yeah.
that was a lot of fun, but I didn't do much schooling.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, I didn't last in school much longer. I mean, I was mainly going into, until I'd go in and sell weed every morning, and then when I was sold out, I would be gone
Yeah.
for the day.
It seems like you and I had kind of
what the hell?
I wasn't selling oregano though.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I mean, and then by what would have been my sophomore year, at that point, I had a house with friends that, I mean, a lot of teenagers don't
Yeah.
do that.
That's crazy.
It's so I don't really have a lot of high school memories. I have a lot of crazy stories and memories from the time that I would have been in high school.
Hey,
Yeah.
There weren't actually high school memories,
Yeah.
though, yeah.
But
You
I
know
would
what I think
have.
we're finding out is that Alex was probably the coolest one out of the four of us, and we all were losers, and that's why we got into comedy.
Yeah.
We don't have any cool high school stuff.
I was just so uninvolved in high school. Like,
I was pretty involved. Like, I wasn't like super popular because I had just moved over here like a few years before that, but I wasn't like a nerd. Like, I was kind of in the middle, Like, there was the really popular group of like girls and guys, like the jocks and like the really prissy girls. I wasn't in that group, but I had a lot of like in the middle, pretty much.
Yeah.
you played basketball
Yeah.
for school, and, I
I
didn't-
also smoked weed at lunch and would go
Yeah.
back to class.
Living in both worlds.
Yeah. All right, you were gonna say one of your stories though, right, John? Like not at high school, but just like during that time.
Well, Chinese class was a lot of fun.
Okay. All right. We'll keep
his
it.
high school memory,
We'll
was
keep it
like
at the
Chinese.
Chinese class.
All right.
You know what?
I was thinking about sharing one during that time. I was going to go really dark.
Are you not telling a story then?
Well,
Another
I
one?
did.
Okay. I just want to make
Chinese
sure.
class
I want to make sure
was
that you would. That we're moving on. Okay.
Okay. Well, I could say maybe would have been high school age. Well, I had my own house with some other people. We had a guy that OD'd like in his bedroom. Like
Oh.
like had died. We resuscitated him and brought him back, and then some of the people that lived in the house, also their parents, just showed up at the door. So now we're trying to not let on the fact that we just had somebody OD that we did CPR and brought back, and we're having to watch over him while the parents stay entertained and then get them out.
That's a pretty crazy high school story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesus.
Oh, man.
So
it was either just Chinese class
Yeah.
or reviving people who have OD'd for you.
I didn't know you lived such a crazy life. You just don't strike me as that type of a person anymore.
kind of people say that.
Yeah, people usually don't change. But you guys, you both did. Okay, so I guess I'm up for my story.
I feel like all of ours were let down, so I'm hoping that yours will be good.
Well, I have a couple that I was going to choose from, but I'm going to go with a fight story. So,
Oh, I have those. I could have done one of those.
well,
That's part of the problem with the crazy high school stories. You know, you played basketball, but my high school was so different. Like, anytime I'm around people, they're like, remember high school and how fun it was and all the crazy, like, pranks we did? And I'm like, no, I never did any of that shit.
I mean,
But I have fight stories. So anyway, your fight story.
Okay, so it was one of my best friends at the time in high school. Her name, I'm not going to say her name anymore. We were walking to my house after school because she came over every day after school. And then her mom would come to my house and pick her up when she got off work. There was an upper and lower crash, and we knew all day that there was going to be a fight after school, meet us at the lower crash, you know. And this girl, like, she didn't care. She wasn't scared. But these girls were, like, kind of like the school bullies. Mm-hmm. And I would be scared, to be honest.
Yeah.
And she's a little like me, so she was fine with it, though. So we all went down lower crash after school, and, of course, security guards were there because they heard about it. And
that was always so exciting. Fights.
Right? There's like 100 people down there. And then the security guards are like, okay, break it up. You guys need to go, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So we started walking down the lower crash to walk down to my house. And the girls were like, one of the girls was one of my friends, kind of. And she's like, we're going to meet her down there then. We're going to leave the school and we'll meet you guys down at the bottom, like on the street pretty much.
That was always the challenge when you were going to fight somebody after school.
Yeah.
When the security found out about it, was trying to be like, okay, where else do we go then? How do we, I can't tell you how many times we try to chase somebody down after that, you know, because you're like trying to find them after security basically ruined your whole plan.
So like people are like hopping in their car and I can tell they're like going to come down and around and meet us down there. Yeah. So I'm like, and they're coming. They're going to come. And she's like, I don't care. So we're walking and like we keep looking back. And then all of a sudden it's like, ah! Like on purpose, this girl was like skirting around the corner. And then freaking 3 girls hop out of the car. I mean, they were pounding her. They were taking her hair and just like slamming it into the cement. And like by that time, there was probably about like 15 other people there because people were following them. And it was in front of like an apartment complex kind of, and then adults were like running out like, why isn't anybody helping? Why aren't you stopping her? Like,
well, because you're high school kids and there's a fight. You're not trying to break it up. You know?
I mean, there was several boys around that could have stopped it, you know? I mean, I'm tiny, like I'm the smallest one there. I'm not going to do anything. I'm probably going to get beat up in the, you know, in the middle of it. But I kept on telling her, I'm like, we don't, you know, they're coming. Like I was warning her because I knew it wasn't going to be good. She was going to get her ass beat. And she literally just didn't care. She just kept walking. Like she wanted to fight him.
Right.
So she went to the hospital.
Sounds like.
She went to the hospital. She was unconscious. She was done.
Jeez.
The paramedics came. She went to the hospital. And then that night, her mom picked her up, went home. And then my mom took me over to her house that night. And I got her like flowers and candy and stuff. Took them in, went down to her bedroom. And then gave them to her in her bedroom, and then we go on to the living room, and then, like, I don't know, before I was leaving, I was like, okay, I hope you enjoy your chocolate and flowers and stuff, and she's like, you got me flowers and chocolate? Like, she didn't remember.
Wow.
She didn't remember. Yeah. And then I went to the hospital, too. So, like, when she woke up, she was like, what happened? And her mom was like, you got hit by a bus. And I was like she was joking. Like she was joking. Like that's how her mom was. And then the girl just started laughing. Like she knew that her mom was joking. And
but like, she literally though, what happened? Like, you please tell me what happened.
I just could not believe it. Like, and then when she said that, she's like, you got me flowers? I was like, whoa. You know,
I mean,
that was like a half an hour ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, like, and you don't remember me giving you that like that.
That's
how
some
bad.
51st date stuff.
I was actually, she's dead now. Actually, she OD'd.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
This is an uplifting podcast.
Yeah.
Today.
It's so crazy though. It's like a lot of people don't realize. I always try to tell them, if you're gonna fight, like in the streets, make sure you don't fall. Make sure you don't go down, because you're at the mercy of whoever is on the opposite side.
I mean, her jacket had like footprints because they were like literally stomping her into the ground.
That happened at one of my junior high schools. This girls are like, because you can grab a hold of hair and everything, but they did the same thing. Like they were hitting her head against a pole in the school and in the ground, and there was just this huge puddle of blood.
Oh my God.
There.
That actually just recently happened at a school, probably like 2 or 3 years ago, where this girl beat another girl to death in the bathroom.
Oh,
it's
damn.
Just like,
Yeah.
It's just like, for what?
Seriously,
because like, these kids don't realize that they're fucking up their whole life over something so stupid.
Yeah, so
Probably a
stupid.
boy or some shit.
Yeah, it actually was over a boy, and I was just about to say it was really interesting because her boyfriend, and it was over him. Her boyfriend was in detention after school, so he couldn't even be there at the fight. Like, he wasn't down to the lower crash, he was in detention, and then he actually heard over the teacher's like walkie-talkie that Anna, the other girl,
that you weren't gonna say her name.
basically what happened, and he jumped up from detention, and he was like really tall and lanky, and he could run really fast, and he literally said that he got there in like 2 minutes from the classroom, that he heard it over the radio thing, and then ran down to where we were.
So the girl that got beat up was his girlfriend?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it was his girlfriend.
Yeah.
So he heard it over a teacher's walkie-talkie thing, and then just got up and ran as fast as he could down. And he came up, and I was like, "The hell are you doing here? How'd you know?" Like, yeah, it was crazy. It was all.
I got in a fight one time over a girl in high school. It was my girlfriend. There was this guy spreading a rumor about how he fingered her in the back of a car. Right. And then so I got in a fight with him, and I beat him up and everything else, because he was like a band guy. She was on drill team, so they always hang out with the band people. The drill teams are weird, but anyway, I beat him up, and then I found out it was true. Like, that girl was cheating on me with everybody. Like it was ridiculous, and I felt so bad, because I'm like, I remember just being like, "You're talking about my girl. You say you did this, that," and then I find out actually I'm the asshole, and she was fucking cheating on me the whole time. Well, comment if you have any crazy high school stories. You know, like you think people usually expect cute high school stories. It's like, one time we filled the opposite school's pool up with gelatin. But instead you got hungover, reviving a dead guy who OD'd.
Mine OD'd eventually.
Manny hers OD'd eventually. Manny hit a good shot in basketball, though. That was exciting.
Yeah, it was.
Let's do high school memories, and they're all just tragic.
I said craziest or favorite.
That's
and I
true.
was going to go with favorite, and then I had to change it because Manny said basketball. My favorite was basketball, so I changed it. But I went with a crazy one.
That was my happy story I wasn't able to do because I did basketball.
All right, well, before we wrap it up, of course, it's time for the biggest segment in entertainment today.
He's got his finger on the pulse of Hollywood. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for John Slayton's Celebrity Gossip Roundup thingy. We still don't have a name for it.
All right, John. What kind of hot celebrity gossip scoop do you have for us today?
You know, I'd really been, scouring through my sources this week, and nothing really caught my attention that I wanted to report on. But then this thing came up about Trisha Paytas.
Who's that?
Who?
You know what? I really didn't know either. And so I was intrigued because one of my sources delivered to me the fact that
One of your sources.
the fact that somebody, a fan of hers, showed up at her house and was trying to, wanted to confess his love to her.
A stalker?
Yeah.
What is she famous for?
Well, she's really not, YouTube.
Is this just a friend of
She's
yours
YouTube.
who has a stalker that you're telling us about right now?
Well, I was like, who is this Trisha Paytas? And so I started researching her.
Uh-huh.
And She has a YouTube channel. I guess
She's a YouTuber?
Yeah, but she's done some other things, like she's had a lot of small roles.
The weird thing is that
different...
you are a celebrity gossip expert, and you know everything that's going on in the world of celebrity. And, you know, I know Manny's doing something on his
Manny
phone
is on
right
the
now.
same screen as John, and he doesn't realize.
Yeah, if you're on the YouTube right now.
I'm actually trying to look up.
Are you looking her up?
Is it
Okay.
Paytas?
It looked
or
like you were
is it
texting.
Paytas.
Okay.
Paytas.
It looked like you were just
TJS.
completely tuned out and you were like looking at your phone or something. You're playing Candy Crush or something.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say was, John, I know this isn't true, but almost as you're delivering it, it sounds like you really don't know who she is and didn't know who she is. Even though I know you did because you're the celebrity gossip guy.
You absolutely knew who she was.
Yeah.
Well,
Quit
it's-
acting like
but
you don't.
It's just the tone of your voice sounds like
Just
you
'cause she's a
might not have known.
There's a lot I didn't know about her, and that's when I stumble across a celebrity that I really don't know a lot about. You know,
Except you know a lot about all of them.
Well, you know, I have to.
The new and upcoming ones.
I have to dig and find out. But YouTube, right, is what she's known for.
That's what everybody's gonna be.
Yeah.
He sounded like such a old guy right there. Yeah, YouTube, right?
Well, the thing is
The YouTubes.
okay. I was researching some of her stuff a little bit, and I'm like, why the fuck does this person have this many followers?
Right.
Like, what is the fucking deal? And so I was looking at her Instagram. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Well, I'll get back to that. Looking at her Instagram, she's the first stuff I started finding. She's a little bit heavier girl. She's curvy. She carries it well. But she's taking pictures of herself, like eating food and stuff like that.
Right.
And then there was this one picture, a lot of like booty pics, some exposed nipples on Instagram.
Oh, wow.
If you look through, but she.
You did do your work finding that stuff.
Well, and then she was wearing some panties that said, like written on the front of them, something like, come in my ass or something like that. I'm like, oh. And I thought to myself, you know what? We deserve a lot more followers to this channel than she has. I mean, because...
Are you saying that I need to start wearing panties just like in my ass? Because I'll do it. If it means that this channel is more successful, the podcast is more successful, I will wear those. Absolutely.
Should I? I don't know.
Well, that
Maybe
probably
that'll
makes
get
more
some
sense
followers.
if you do, for sure.
Shit.
And so I didn't. I started thinking today earlier. It was kind of busy, but I thought to myself, I wonder if she ever did porn. So I Googled it, and some stuff came out. I saw like something came up from Pornhub. I think she did some porn years ago.
I'm guessing you did a lot of research.
No, but I will. I will later. I didn't have time to, but I mean, it's my job, right? It's my job and my passion. I've got to, finish up because I felt like
Finish up.
God
God
Did
damn.
you have to? Were you currently doing your research on Pornhub, and then you had to come do the podcast, so you didn't get to finish
I
it
didn't
up?
have a lot
and
of
now you
time.
gotta go?
I didn't have a lot of time.
Well, it doesn't take a lot of time. But
Well, I like to settle in, right? You know? But so this dude that showed up at her place, fucking idiot. Okay, he showed up.
he's mad about it. It's like this fucking guy.
Wanted to confess his love, and some dude's at the door or something that stopped him. And so the dude can't come in. He's like, so he leaves his information with the guy at the door.
What an idiot.
Can you pass this along to her?
Yeah.
So
Oh
now it's
my
like, it's pretty
God.
easy for the cops to pick him up now.
It's like those people who rob a bank and give their actual home address or something. Like, you can just send a cashier's check over here. So have they arrested the guy then? That was
No, I don't know if they're necessarily going to pursue it because he never made it inside. He was stopped at the door.
Yeah, nothing illegal, I guess, happened.
He just showed up at the house. Huh?
I mean, it's no different than some Jehovah's Witnesses at that point.
Yeah.
right?
And it's hard to get restraining orders.
It's really hard to get restraining orders. Alex and I know someone who had like someone stalking him and would literally show up at their business
Several times.
all the time.
Yeah.
Wait for them outside after hours. She had to like have take different cars sometimes so that they wouldn't know that she had left or she was there. All kinds of stuff, and she still couldn't get a restraining order, like a full restraining order.
Yeah,
Huh.
she
Yeah.
couldn't.
Crazy.
She still doesn't have it.
Still doesn't have one.
There was one time I should have gotten a restraining order and I didn't. I didn't even try, but I was just too scared to try because like if you're scared to get a restraining order on someone who's stalking you,
Yeah, because really, it's crazy people. Some restraining orders
doesn't do anything. It's a piece of paper.
Piece of paper.
Yeah.
Literally.
If they're that insane, they're still
Right.
going to do something.
But
Is that
is that it?
Yeah, that's it for the celebrity gossip for today.
Okay.
You know,
so Trisha Paytas?
Trisha Paytas.
Paytas.
Yeah.
Look up her Pornhub later.
Yeah. Manny, did you find anything about her? You Googled her just a second ago.
Yeah, not much. I see there's like, I can't tell if she's white or black or just has a really crazy tan.
How many
Well,
followers
and it
does she
looks like-
have?
Like 2.5 million.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the person who would know is, of course, a resident
John
celebrity expert. Is she
Yeah.
white or black,
Slayton.
or what is she?
Well, it's interesting.
78% Puerto Rican, 13% Hawaiian.
She looks
Do you know
like
her old 23 and me?
she looks like she's white and tans a lot. But the thing is, she had this couple years ago. She came out and was saying that she actually identifies as a gay man, trans, and that kind of upset the community. I can't remember all the letters. in the
Wait, so is she
alphabet.
born female or male?
Born female,
So
and
is
is still
she-
female.
Okay.
She just wants
She
to
just wants
do
to
it.
identify as
She identifies as a gay man because
confused.
She just wants more followers.
Yeah, she just
Yeah.
wants publicity.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what that
I
means.
don't know. But anyway,
Yeah,
I'm glad that.
well, what she said was she likes guys, but she enjoys hanging out with guys more than girls.
But she's a girl. Wait, I'm confused.
she's
wait.
just.
Yeah.
So she wants
She's
to be
a straight
identified
woman.
as a gay what?
Gay man
Yeah.
A gay man.
that's in drag.
Okay, so she wants. Okay.
She's basically just saying bullshit to try to get some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Headlines.
But she like-
Rachel. She's like Rachel Dolezal. Remember how she was the white lady who wanted to be black?
She was
and
hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was in the NAACP. She's
Yeah.
one of that.
That was so funny. She said that she identified.
She had
as
potential though. You know, she had
did.
potential. She very well could have been like a little bit black.
Rachel Dolezal,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, she fooled
Yeah,
people
she
for
looked like
years.
it.
The people
Yeah.
thought that she was black for years until she was outed as not being black, and then she was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I identify as a black woman," and there was like, "Get the fuck out of here!" All right, well, that was the Jubal Show. Make sure to rate, review, comment, subscribe every single Wednesday. iTunes, YouTube. I just said rate, review, comment, subscribe a second before that. So anyway, I say it a lot, so fucking do it because I say it so much. The Fresh Till Death podcast every single Monday, iTunes, YouTube, and the Fresh Till Death podcast every single Tuesday only on YouTube. Thanks for the hard-hitting celebrity gossip, John. And
Thanks for the lame stories, guys. Just kidding.
I mean, I think it was just different than what I was expecting from high school stories, and I think it was probably different than what anybody who was checking out the podcast was expecting from high school
Crazy
stories.
or funny?
Crazy
Or
yeah.
favorite. Sorry.
Yeah.
Crazy or favorite.
It just shows what a band.
A little bit sad.
a little bit sad, yeah. Crazy favorite, a little bit sad
Deep.
high school stories.
Whatever you want it to be.
Make sure to follow everybody on social media. I'm at Jubal Fresh on everything. Alex is at That Dreas. Manny Martin is at Manny Martin Jr. and John Slayton is at John L. Slayton. Or is it at Trisha Paytas? I don't know, either one.
He puts her in his bio
Yeah.
with a ring.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you next week for another Jubal Show. Bye.
Bye.